Namaste. Most of us know the Hanuman Chalisa as a chant for courage, strength, or protection. Parents teach it to their children, but never really understood what we are actually invoking. We know it works, but do we really know why it works? What if I told you each of its 40 words hides a secret code, a yogic blueprint for mastering breath, energy, and selfless action? Saints like Lahiri Mahashaya hinted at this hidden meaning. The Chalisa isn't just devotion, it's a manual for Karma Yoga or selfless living, the psychology of selfless action that modern science is only now beginning to understand. Today, we are decoding why these 40 verses have transformed millions of lives for over 400 years and what they reveal about the deepest principles of human psychology. The answer lies hidden in the stories we all grew up hearing, like young Hanuman leaping towards the sun thinking it was a giant sweet fruit. How he later forgot his own abilities until Jambavan reminded him of his powers before the great ocean crossing. And here's another story. When Lord Hanuman was searching for Mata Sita in Lanka, he could have easily destroyed the entire demon kingdom with his unmatched strength, but instead he chose to remain hidden, gather all the information, fulfill his mission by presenting Lord Ram's signet ring to Mata Sita. Even when Ravan's soldiers set his state on fire, Hanuman didn't unleash blind revenge. He used that very fire as a message, burning down Ravan's palaces and strongholds, while sparing the innocent, showing what true power is always guided by wisdom and restraint. And while stories like these are not directly written in the Hanuman Chalisa, the Chalisa carries these deeper lessons, teaching us courage, discipline, and the responsible use of power. For example, the sun story reveals something crucial about fearless action. Hanuman acted with complete innocence, without calculating risks or worrying about failure. This represents what psychologists call beginner's mind, approaching challenges without the limiting beliefs that come from overthinking. The forgotten power story is even deeper. It shows how often we underestimate our capabilities due to conditioning and past experiences. But here's the key. Once Lord Hanuman remembered his strength, he never used it for personal gain. He immediately channeled it towards serving Lord Ram's mission. The Lanka story shows us restraint in power, the ability to choose the minimum force necessary to achieve the maximum good. This is where Hanuman becomes the perfect symbol of Karma Yoga, which is encoded in Hanuman Chalisa. Unlimited power combined with complete ego transcendence. In the Ramayana, he is described as a banar, half human, half being of the forest. Symbolically, this represents the human mind, often restless, distracted, and full of energy. But when disciplined and directed, that same energy becomes unstoppable. His strength isn't for domination, it's for devotion. Karma Yoga is the spiritual path of selfless action, where you perform your duties without attachment to personal results or recognition. Modern psychology calls this intrinsic motivation, acting from inner purpose rather than external reports. The Chalisa encodes this principle in verse after verse, reminding us that true strength comes when action is free from ego. But here's a puzzle. If Lord Hanuman symbolizes selfless action and Karma Yoga, why do we have exactly 40 verses? Was it a random number? Or was there a hidden design? Here's the practical reason. 40 verses is the perfect length for daily practice. Not too short that it feels incomplete, not too long that it becomes a burden. Each verse takes about 20-30 seconds to chant properly, making the complete Chalisa about 15 to 20 minutes, the ideal length for focused meditation. The rhythm of those 40 verses also creates a complete breathing cycle. When you chant the Chalisa, you're naturally regulating your breath. Each verse has a specific meter and rhythm that guides your breathing pattern. Saints describe this as pranayama in disguise. So, the 40 verses aren't mystically magical, they are practically perfect. They create the right amount of time, the right breathing rhythm, and the right mental focus needed for transformation. It's ancient wisdom using practical psychology. That leads us to the real question which people ask. Why does chanting the Hanuman Chalisa makes us fearless? The answer might surprise you because it lies in understanding what fear actually is psychologically. Fear typically stems from attachment to outcomes. What if I fail? What if people judge me? What if I'm not good enough? These anxieties keep us trapped in self-protective thinking. Consider this famous verse in Hanuman Chalisa. Bhoot, Pisaach, nikat nahin aave, Mahavir jab naam sunave. Which means negative entities cannot come near when the great hero's name is heard. Bhoot traditionally means ghosts, but psychologically represents shadows of the past, old traumas, limiting beliefs, and mental patterns that haunt us. Pisaach refers to the restless entities, symbolically meaning the cravings, addictions, and compulsive thoughts that drain our mental energy. When you shift your focus from self-centered concerns to service-oriented action, these inner demons naturally lose power. It's not that you fight them, you transcend them by raising your mental frequency to something higher. This is the Karma Yoga approach. Instead of battling your limitations, you dissolve them through your devotion to something greater than personal interests. But chanting alone isn't enough. The real test is, how does all this ancient wisdom show up in your daily life? Let's decode that the Chalisa isn't just about chanting, it's about becoming Hanuman. Remember his childhood leap towards the sun? Innocent, fearless, determination. That's the spirit of pursuing your highest potentials without hesitation. Remember Jambavanji reminding him of his powers? We often underestimate ourselves, but once awakened, our strength must serve a higher purpose, not personal glory. Remember his restraint in Lanka. True power means using just enough force to create positive change, never more. In modern life, Karma Yoga shows itself in everyday actions. Cooking becomes meditation when done as a service. Work becomes worship when focused on contribution. Parenting becomes yoga when guiding without controlling. The Chalisa says, Ram Rasayan Tumhare Pasa, which means You possess the elixir of Ram's name. Psychologically, this means that action becomes offerings, naturally energizing and healing for both you and others. But is there an even deeper layer? Many yogis say yes. Some advanced yogis suggest that the 40 verses align with subtle energy centers throughout the body. Chanting with awareness awakens Kundalini, the dormant spiritual energy at the base of the spine. As it rises, consciousness expands. The real secret of the Hanuman Chalisa isn't hidden in Sanskrit. It's hidden in plain sight. Live with Hanuman's attitude. So, many of us learned this prayer as children, recited it during difficult times, or heard our parents chanting it every morning. But now you know, you weren't just asking for protection, you were training your brain for transformation. Isn't it beautiful? We spent years searching for peace, trying different meditation techniques, reading countless books on personal development. But the very tool for transformation was already in our hands, passed down through generations. The wisdom we needed was right there in those familiar verses we have been chanting all along. So, wake up each day with his tireless energy. Work with his humble confidence. When ego whimpers, look what I accomplished. Remember Hanuman's response. It is all Ram's grace. When you live this way, everything becomes yoga. Breath becomes pranayama. Work becomes karma yoga. Challenges become opportunities to discover hidden strength. And here's the biggest secret of all. The Chalisa isn't asking for worship. It's giving you a mirror, a way to discover the Hanuman within. The part of you that can leap across oceans of difficulty, carry mountains of responsibility, and burn down fortress of limitation, all while staying humble and focused on service. When you live like this, divine energy flows through you, handling challenges with grace and power you didn't know you had. That's the true promise of Hanuman Chalisa. Not just protection, but fearless transformation and unlimited inner strength. If this message resonated with you, try chanting the Hanuman Chalisa for 40 days, not as a blind faith, but as a conscious experiment in transforming your daily energy and focus. And if you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe so more people can discover the hidden powers of this timeless chant. And look at my other videos here. Thank you.